Hello, once again, welcome to Math Companion. I have a very easy trigonometric equation here I want us to solve. Well, mostly have been using letter M to do substitution because it stands for Math Companion. So, welcome you to your only platform that solves really interesting math questions. All right. So, to solve this, clearly this is a quadratic equation because all we need to do, we just let cos x be equals to m. All right, that's very important for us. Now, where we have cos x, we are going to replace it with m, but where we have cos squared, then it's going to be m squared. So 3m squared minus 10m plus 3, it's equals to 0. Now, 3 multiplied by this 3 over here is going to be equal to 9. Now we need to figure out two numbers. When we add, we are going to get negative 10, this negative 10 here. But when we multiply, we are going to get positive 9. So the numbers are negative 1 and negative 9. So negative 1 plus negative 9, you get negative 10. Negative 1 times negative 9, you get positive 9. All right, so the coefficients, all these are the coefficients of m, and then over here we are going to have 3m squared, so plus 3 is equals to 0. Then we are going to do the factorization. Then over here m is common for both 3m squared and minus m, so we are going to factorize and have m outside the brackets. So 3m squared divided by m, you will get 3m. Okay, minus 1m divided by m, you will be left with minus 1. And then between negative 9m plus 3, the common factor here is negative 3. So you have negative 3 outside the brackets into 3m minus 1. Then finally, our answer from factorization is going to be m minus 3, 3m minus 1, which is equals to 0. Now working out the answers for m. So we have m minus 3 will be equals to 0, and therefore m will be equals to 3. Then in the other case, we have 3m minus 1 is equals to 0. So then 3m will be equals to positive 1. You divide by 3 on both sides. So m will be equals to a third. Good. Now, remember our substitution. We said cosine x was equated to m. Therefore, we are going to say cosine x is equals to 3. But let us do our analytical analysis. There is no way a cosine of a number is going to be more than 1 or less than negative 1. So the range for cosine x is from negative 1 to positive 1. So therefore it doesn't make sense to say cosine x is equals to 3. So we are going to ignore this solution, and therefore we are going to work with the next one. So it makes sense when we say cosine x is equals to 1 over 3. Now if I want to find x, and in this case we are going to just leave the solution as a general formula. So it is going to be plus or minus the cosine inverse or the arc cos. I don't know which one you would prefer. Okay, You can either use a cosine or cos inverse. It's just the same thing. All right, so plus or minus arc cos x, which is the same as the cosine inverse. I use the plus and minus because the cosine is actually an inverse function. So sorry, arc cos 1 over 3 plus 2 pi n, whereby n is a member or the integers. So this will be the general solution. And why did we use 2 pi n? It's because, for every period, 2 pi n period, so we can have all the periods up to negative infinity or all the way to positive infinity. Okay, so this one will be our general solution. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. Please stay here for more interesting mathematical questions. Bye bye.